What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sports Prodigies podcast with your hosts. I'm Aiden and my partner, Jeremy, and today we're going to be talking about NBA restart bubble. A lot's been going on, and we're really interested in it. I know me and Jeremy are huge NBA fans. We love watching. We can't wait for it to return at the end of this month. So we're kind of just going to talk about it, some of the things that have been going on, some of the precautions, some of the things you need to watch out for as a fan to get this whole thing going. But before we get started, we wanted to talk about our sponsor for this video. Like we've said many of times, our sponsor is Manscaped. I know I love the product. It's amazing. I love using it. Something I would recommend is the Lawnmower 3.0. I think it really does the job. And as somebody that has used it a couple of times, I would really recommend to all males out there listening. I think it's a great product and something that all males should have. Jeremy, what do you have to say?
Yeah, Manscaped products are all the best. They're all top of the line. Like you said, the Lawnmower 3.0, it really lives up to its name of the lawnmower. And all their products are really just really good.
Yeah, and to get your Manscaped products, if you haven't used it already, please use our code capital SP2020 to get 20% off and free shipping. It's a great product. I feel like you will not be disappointed. The hygiene is amazing. The razor is amazing. I recommend, and I can repeat it. I can say it all day, but it's just an amazing product I'd recommend for all. So please use our code capital SP2020. You get 20% off and free shipping, and I believe it's a great deal. So let's get into the NBA restart. Something big that has come out recently within the last week. Zion Williamson has decided to leave the bubble, obviously because of a family emergency, but the fact that the Pelicans are really in that playoff race to get into that 8 seed, because as many of you know, there's 22 teams in the bubble right now. So they're fighting for that 8 seed. There's a bunch of teams. I think the Blazers are fighting. I think the Pelicans. Are the Kings in there, Jeremy?
Yeah, I believe. And going off to the Blazers, I think if the Blazers get in, they can be a very tough opponent for whoever they face in the first round.
Very tough. And as of now,
I honestly think they could be a sneaky team. They could make a run if they got the superstar power. I feel like if Nurkic is back healthy and their depth, I don't know. I just feel like they can make a run.
Yeah, and so it's huge. Zion, as everybody knows, is a freak athlete, amazing player. I think he was leading the Pelicans for most of the season. Obviously, he only played 19 games, but in those 19 games, he showed how effective he could be. And the main thing everybody's talking about is his health. This has nothing to do with his health. Obviously, something personal has come up. He needs to leave. I fully understand that. But it's definitely going to take a big toll because nobody really knows when he will come back. And when he comes back, obviously, he will need to quarantine. And that's going to be a big deal because that's another 14 to 10 days sitting out. And it's really big news. Because
I think it's a big setback for the Pelicans, but also could be good for their future if they don't make the playoffs. They get a better draft pick.
Huge. And that's something definitely that you look at, especially with this draft coming up. I know me and Jeremy watch a lot of college basketball. A lot of big guys are coming out, and I feel like we can get into that in a future podcast. I know there's a lot of great guys. I can rattle some off the top of my head. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Obi Toppin, James Wiseman. Obviously, these guys are top 5 picks. But if the Pelicans get a pick from, what would you say, 10 to 15 range, there's still very good guys there. So that's also the thing you look at.
And for me, I'm a Wizards fan. They're going there to play 8 games and then go home. Beal's not playing, Bertans isn't playing. We just signed the guy from Iowa, Jared Uthoff. I don't even know if he's ever played in the NBA before, and he graduated 6 years ago.
Yeah. So that's why the bubble is so interesting, and especially with this whole situation with Zion Williamson. So that's something big that a lot of NBA fans are looking at, and I feel like it's definitely a setback for the Pelicans, but you can also look at it in a good light if you're a Pelicans fan. The next thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, is so, Jeremy, a question that I have for you. Who do you think has the most pressure on them in the bubble right now to succeed?
That's a tough question.
If you want me to go first, I have.
Yeah, you go first. I got to think about that one.
Okay, yeah. So, a guy that I think has a lot of pressure on them right now.
Wait, you mean player or team?
I'm saying player. And I'm going to go with James Harden. And this is why. For the last 3 years, James Harden and the Rockets have lost to the Warriors in the playoffs. There are no Warriors this year in the playoffs. There's no Steph Curry. There's no Klay Thompson. There's no Kevin Durant. He is not even in the playoffs, but he's obviously on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it is an easy road for the Rockets. I don't know what seed they're going to go. All of these games matter. And James Harden has just come into the bubble. I bet a lot of people have seen him. He's been balling. The guy's amazing. One of my favorite players in the NBA. And to be honest, I think he is on MVP level. But I think because so many players played well this year, I think he's the third option for MVP. Because I think LeBron and Giannis are both ahead of him. And we've talked about that on past podcasts. But getting back to this, you look at James Harden. Many people know he's amazing. But the thing is, will he ever win a championship? He has to go through the Lakers and the Clippers. I think if he can get it done, it will raise him. And I'm not saying he's not one of the best in the NBA already, but I think you put him in the top 5 conversation automatically if he wins a championship this year. And you cannot take away the fact that, it's the bubble. If James Harden pulls off a championship this year, which is very unlikely, and I'm saying it because there's so many good teams in the bubble right now. And all these teams, I feel like the Lakers, they didn't lose a lot of players. The Clippers, they didn't lose a lot of players. The Rockets haven't lost a lot of players, but especially the way they're playing right now with that small ball. And I feel like a lot of people have forgotten. They traded Clint Capella in January. We haven't seen them play in months. I really wonder how that small ball, we only saw them play a couple games with the small ball. I want to see how it works in the bubble against Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, all these big guys. So I think James Harden is the most pressure in the bubble. I think a lot of people in the NBA circle and fans want to see what he could do without having to go through Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. So what do you think, Jeremy?
I think as a player, the pressure is on Giannis because this year we can both agree the Bucks were the best team in the regular season before the pandemic, right?
100%. I think they won 60 games.
100%.
Giannis was amazing this year, and he's the front runner for MVP.
Superstar. They have stars below him, and they have depth. So, anything but getting to the NBA Finals this year would be a disappointment. And to me, anything but winning the NBA Finals this year would be a disappointment. And I really think their team's just too good enough not to get there. And if they don't get there, it's going to be because on him. You know what I'm saying?
I fully understand. That's a great point. I feel like we both have great points.
As a team, I kind of feel like the pressure is on the Philadelphia 76ers, not like to win it all, but they're too talented of a team to be playing as bad as they did and not connecting like they did in the regular season. And they need to figure it out. And they just, as a team, they need to come together because they're way too talented to not be putting together something good on the court. Better than what they had.
Most definitely. I feel like there's a lot of teams that you need to look at in the bubble that are like they show up or they don't. 76ers are obviously one of them. I think the Clippers, I wonder what they're going to do. Obviously, Kawhi, in the regular season, a lot of people know guy doesn't play all the games. He's coming. I'm assuming he's going to play every game in the bubble. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. But there are 8 games before you get to playoffs. So I was going to ask you a quick question. Do you think guys like LeBron, Anthony Davis, Giannis, James Harden, Kawhi, guys that have pretty much locked in their playoff spot, the 1s and 2s and 3 seeds, you think they will play those final 8 games that the Wizards are playing in to fight for playoff spots, the Pelicans, the Blazers? Do you think they play those star power? Or do you?
I think they have to and they have to look at it as like it's like another preseason because these guys haven't played in a professional basketball game since March. We're now going to be at the end of July, early August. So that's how many months? May, June, July, August, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
that they haven't been in a game. So I absolutely think that they will be playing in those 8 games, and maybe they'll sit like 1 or 2 of them, but I think they'll be playing in the majority of those games.
Yeah, and the bubble is definitely very interesting to look at. I think it's going to be a really interesting ride. I hope that we get to see an NBA Finals this year. Obviously, it could go south very quickly. I just wish the best for the NBA, all of the players, and all of the fans that are watching. That's going to wrap it up for today. Jeremy, always great talking to you.
Yeah, you too, dog. And before we wrap it up, I just wanted to we don't normally talk about the MLB on this show, or we haven't yet, but I wanted to add in. I if you want to take a future bet on who's going to win the World Series, throw a bet on the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge guy on the MLB, but I don't know. I'll go with Jeremy. Go on the Twins. That's it for today. Obviously, go use our code capital SP2020. Go to manscaped.com and use that code for 20% off and free shipping. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll tune in next time. Can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.